Good morning. Welcome to Sending Ravens, Patreon class number 6. What we're doing today, we're going to look at that layout. I call it the Kachina with a K, Kachina knife. Okay, and the reason it's called that, it comes from, I believe a Kachina knife is from Southwest indigenous peoples of North America. They have some spiritual sort of, I think it's even like Kachina means a really sharp knife in their culture. And I believe it's from either Navajo or I'm not exactly sure which indigenous peoples, but they would be Southwest sort of United States now. So Navajo, Yucatan, there could be even ancient Mayan derivative. Yeah, so the Kachina knife, the word Kachina, I believe means really straight and true and sharp, but they mean knife. So getting to the heart of something. So the Kachina knife layout, you're getting to the heart of something. And what I love about it, I do it all the time, but obviously when you come in for a long reading with me in person or I'm doing it on the phone, I'm going to use bigger layouts. But the Kachina knife's great for just questions, right? Like really direct questions. So I always have people shuffle and I get them to shuffle themselves. And a lot of readers, they don't want other people touching their cards. Now, I find that strange, and that's, in light of this thing that's going on, this scary situation that everybody's facing. I could get that, and that's why I'm doing all my readings on FaceTime right now, and I'm shuffling for people. So a reader can shuffle and channel for people, of course. We do it all the time. But when I have someone in person, and when we don't have a situation like a health situation going on like we have, I like their energy on it. And being a reader, I'm not afraid of people's energy. You need to have good boundaries, personal boundaries, not take people's work personally. If you're the type who gets really, really affected by other people's energy, you might want to reconsider reading as a profession, okay? Because people's energy is not to be feared. And if you fear it and you're a fearful person of you're going to get your energy sucked out of you or something, you probably shouldn't read for others, okay? I'm just saying, read for yourself. Read for, you know what I mean? If you're so sensitive that you're a sponge to everybody, you need to either develop really good boundaries to read for others, or please don't read for others, because you will pick up everybody's stuff and maybe carry it around with you, right? So you have to be careful. I think I was born to do this because I really have innate good boundaries, and I've developed even better boundaries. People's situations are not my situation. And they'll make them stronger. Even difficult situations that people go through are going to make them stronger. So it's really important to be detached, loving, and not judgmental. If you're going to be a reader, and you got to keep your personal judgments out of the situation. You're literally asking their soul essence around a situation, and their learning is not your business. Your business is to help them have a better experience here on the earth plane and do what their souls sort of came here to do. You're helping them empower themselves to get in touch. You're not here to lecture or talk about your personal opinions. If you're getting it in the reading and some really strong advice, great. But if it's not in the reading and you're just piping up about your own personal opinion about something, not cool, okay? That's not the way to read people's cards. You're reading non-judgmental. Sometimes the cards completely disagree with your own morals and way of seeing things. It happens to me all the time, right? So it's not about you, it's about them. So you leave your ego at the door when you're reading somebody. I have them shuffle and then cut the deck in 3 using their left hand, because left is more intuitive and connects with your soul. And here's the Kachina knife layout. So the first card, you might have to back this up and go over it or write some notes down. first card is always the querent. That's another word for the person being read. So whoever's asking the question, this is them. So it's their archetype in the situation you're asking about. Not their archetype in general, not their archetype for any other situation except whatever the question is. And I highly recommend that you get your people, whoever's asking the question, or yourself if you're asking, make sure your question's really, really framed clearly. If you're not clear about what you're asking, the layout, the layout's not going to work, because you're not going to get a clear answer if you don't clearly ask. So what I'm asking here is, what do I need to know right now? What do I need to know to get through this situation that we're experiencing, this lockdown? So I'm the querent in this case. So this is me. So I'm the Ace of Swords. I'm inquisitive. I'm looking for an answer. Ace of Swords wants an answer for something, right? So this is the querent, whoever is asking the question, in regards to the question being asked. Okay, so me, how do I get through the situation that we're currently facing? The querent, the situation you're asking about. Now, if the person is asking about another person, then you put the person asking the question and the significant other here. So I'm asking about this, or whoever this is, or whatever this is. Okay, so here's the past. So this card indicates what you need to know that led up to the current situation. And here's the situation, that how it exists. So the person who asked, first card pull, number 1. You might want to write that in your notes. For person asking the question, their archetype. Now, if the question isn't about a person, so say I asked, let's see, what is the situation in the world right now teaching us? Say I asked that. This would be the situation in the world right now teaching us. Okay, so it's like whatever the focus is goes first here, or whoever the focus is on. And then the situation they're focused on. The past that led to, so this is first card, second, third, place that one down. Past situation, so somehow this led to whatever we're experiencing. This is in the atmosphere, so between these two. That's the fourth card pull. Now that card can be the atmosphere between two people, so how the energy feels between them, how a person is like, what they're experiencing in the situation that they're asking about, in the world today, what we're feeling. Because I asked about how am I, that's me, gonna get through the situation. That's the situation that we're experiencing. Okay, and this is how it all feels right now. That's in my atmosphere, so yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. And here's the outcome. So the near future outcome. So the Kachina knife, first card pull, whoever asked the question and or the question being asked, we call it the querent. And the situation they're asking about. The past, that's the third card you place down, that led to, somehow that gives us insight into what this card, the situation itself. So this card is about how these two interact with each other, right? So it could be the atmosphere around the situation. That's often how it's seen. And if it's a relationship, it's like, is there tension between them? Is it harmonious? What's going on? What's the energy between them? Okay? Or between you and the question you're asking. Now, this is the near future. So as it evolves, what's coming next? What can you expect? Right? It's not always what you want to hear, but it's what to expect. Right? Now, if you don't have major arcanas coming up, I always pull 2 more. I'll talk about those in a minute. If you don't have major, notice there's no major arcanas. No major arcanas. So whatever's going on when there's no major arcanas in the entire reading, it says it could still be changed. You could change the situation somehow. So it's good to note that. The situation is in progress and could be changed. When there's major arcanas coming up, you can't really change it. Like say this was a major arcana, the outcome's set already. So then you just get people prepared for how to work with that. But in this case, the outcome isn't set. So there's a lot of play here. You could give people, you know, a lot of ways that they could change their situation if they don't like the outcome. Right? Interesting, right? Now these two, some people pull them over to the side, are advice. Okay, advice. So always read the first card pulled, the first card down with more clout. So do this, and or this one has the most clout. Okay, and then this one just backs it up. This is clarifying this. Okay, so now I'm going to read this little layout because it's quite fascinating. So remember my question, and always ask your people. They need to be clear about what is the question being asked. Okay, how am I going to get through? How am I, that's me, going to get through the current situation best way possible, right? Being quarantined with 3 young men, not that I mind at all. My son, his friend who was living here, and my nephew. How am I going to get through that gracefully, sort of best way? Okay, because everybody's in situations that are kind of like intense, right? It's hard to be always in the house and staying, you know, always quietly doing things in the house, right? It's just not natural, right? Spring's coming here, it's not natural. So how am I going to do it? So that's what I asked. So this is me. So I'm the Ace of Swords, so I'm looking for an answer because an ace wants to know something. It's very inquisitive, and it's swords are thoughts and words. I am demanding almost, that's a very demanding card, an answer to something. And this is the thing itself that I'm asking about, the situation we're all faced with, which is patience and perseverance. We all need patience for sure, because this situation, there's a lot more going on than meets the eye here. And so the whole situation, what's been presented to us, this card says seeds have been planted and something will grow out of this situation. So that's interesting to know. Seeds have been planted, and this guy is a farmer and he's waiting to harvest. So something really good comes out of this card. It also indicates, I always get this with that 7, you're 70% through a situation. Now, if you go to my readings I've been putting up about the scary situation, we can't say the name of on the channels or we get shut down. So if one more person asks me, literally in the comments, to talk about the C word with the V word included in the sentence, I'm going to yell. Don't ask me about that, because even having it in the comments is a problem, right? If you wrote it in the comments, please don't use the actual word, because Google is shutting people down for using the word. Can you imagine? So something weird's going on. But in the meantime, we got to adhere to it because Google pays us and Google lets us have this channel. Not that this channel makes really much money, but Google, it allows me to help you guys and it allows me to share. So, and I'm very grateful for it, just to have the community. So that's one of the things we have to adhere to, unfortunately. So this card here is saying the situation is 70% through. So something is 70% through us when this card comes up, and it says hang in there. It literally, the advice with this card is you got to hang in there. Well, that is what we're doing. So I'm inquisitive and demanding to know, how am I going to get through this? The situation itself says it's 70% through. That's good news, and I've been getting that. If you go watch my little on this, what I call the scary flu situation, okay? And now it's even being said not to use the word flu, but anyway, too late now. But the scary situation that's facing all of us in the world today is 70% through. I've been getting that. It's not going to be as long as everybody thinks, and I hope I'm right about that. I'm thinking by mid-April things start to chill, and by May 1st, certainly here in Canada, they've kind of lifted. And I don't think people will still be asked to stay home. But that's what I've been getting, and I don't know, I hope I'm right. And that would indicate the same thing. It says we're 70% through. So that'll help. That'll help your client who asked, what am I going to do? You can tell them, well, it looks like you're 70% through. So hang in there because you got a little ways to go yet. Okay? Now, the past of the situation. So this has been worked on. People have been working on this. Wow, this is a fantastic card for the past. It says this has been worked on for a really long time. Somehow there could be a cure and or a vaccine and or some way to manage this situation. It's been worked on because that's an 80% card now, and it's somebody diligently working on something to the good. That's a very positive card. So I'm thinking people have been working on this, and the universe has been working on this. Our higher selves have been working on this. We're gonna get through this. All of this does not feel as intense as we're being told, to feel about it. It doesn't feel as scary as that. So I want to remind people to keep your fear down to a minimum, right? Be cautious, obviously, but don't sit around in utter fear because really things are getting worked out here. Now we've got this Knight of Swords in the middle. So that's the atmosphere between the querent, the person asking the question, and the situation itself. And this kind of just gives us more input really on what's going on here between those two. What's the tension line? What's the, in the middle of that, right? And we've got this Knight of Swords. So that's, this guy's a little impatient, intense, and passionate. Impatient, intense, and passionate. Well, that definitely feels like a lot of people I know right now. And it does feel, and it's getting a little tense. Like people walking around big cities say it's getting tense. Like I watch Source the Truth with Jason Goodman, and he's been walking around New York, and he says it's dangerous because people are starting to get, they could get violent, they could start looting, stores are closed, people could start getting really, really bored and kind of crazy, right? So it does feel a little bit intense and feisty in the atmosphere, and people are getting bored and even frustrated with a whole world being shut down over possibly an exaggerated risk. And I know it's a big, and I get it, but I feel like we're getting a little bit misled on how, I think there are a lot of overreaction and a lot of untruths out there. And I'm not saying the whole situation's a conspiracy. I'm not saying that at all. But I am saying there could be a really big, the response could be a little bit overdone, But anyway, in the meantime, if we're safe this way, great. But if it goes on much longer, people are not going to tolerate it. They're going to want answers for what's really going on. Now, the near future is the Three of Pentacles, which is things are going to work themselves. I love this. This is the outcome. If we just left everything the way it is, this is what we can expect kind of card, right? That's what it means. So we've got the Three of Pentacles. This is things are built on a really firm foundation. A lot of people are saying, oh, this is going to undo the whole world, the financial system. This doesn't tell me that. This doesn't tell me that. That card says the world is and or the situation is, we have a really firm foundation, and even a foundation in community and humans coming together, even though we can't physically be together. Some of us are, obviously, when we're quarantined together, but literally this is about communities coming together in their hearts and souls and energetically. And that is, I think, really what's happening is people are getting more together, not less. And I feel like that's what's actually shifting the situation. People are coming together in loving and helpful, and communities are coming together. It's not about government saving us. It's not about more boundaries. It's about people loving and helping each other. And that is, we can expect even more togetherness and a firmer foundation. I feel like we're going to have a firmer foundation in our communities and not less of one when this is all said and done. I'm thinking we got another 3 really intense weeks and 6, maybe 6 weeks, and then things really lift. Between 3 and 6, I would say, in North America. But that's just what I'm getting here. And I hope other places that have been locked down sooner than North America, or even sooner maybe, right? Because they are experiencing it sooner than us. So, you know, I'm not saying 3 weeks everything goes back to normal. I'm not saying that. But I think within 3 weeks, we start to see that things could be moving in the more positive direction. And within 6 weeks, at least our government here looks, I'm thinking, lifts everything, like as far as everyone's being isolated. But that's just my prediction. So I'm going to predict that. But looks like I'm getting that again in the cards. And we'll also find the outcome is things are stronger than we think they are. And even though we think this is going to crash the whole economy, I'm thinking not. Now, here's our advice. This is the community and family and people helping, all generations helping each other, helping our pets, being there for each other. This is a community card, and it's so well aspected, right? If it was badly aspected, it could be the community, beware of the community, but it's not. It's saying, be thankful, because this card has their wish come true. We are going to reinstate community, and it's asking us to be thankful, joyful, and recognize what our communities are doing and who's really in your community and who's really been helping all along and who's with you. Because I feel like we're going to find and discover community as opposed to being ripped apart. So if this thing really was manufactured to rip people apart and make fear and people not loving each other, I feel like it'll exactly the opposite's happening. Wow. And it's also encouraging us to be in loving communities, even if it's just online. Thank goodness for the internet right now, right? Be in loving community and taking care of each other, checking in on each other, and be together in spirit. That's what's going to pull this off. And we're going to come out of this. Wow. So that's a Kachina knife class and others. Thank you so much. By the way, the Kachina knife comes from the Medicine Card Tarot deck. You can look that up. Medicine Card Tarot deck. It's an animal totem deck. And that layout is in the little book, the Medicine Cards. That's where I got it from. And Hawa, that's a Haida word for thank you. And well, it means so much more than thank you. It's a very spiritual greeting and all around beautiful word. I just like to say it, Hawa. And yeah, sending you raven.